Well, hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ames's Corner. Well, it's the holiday. It's the holiday weekend, rather, Memorial Day or Labor Day, rather. So we're closed. It's a Saturday. The shop's closed today, but we'll probably have some people popping in. There's a car show one town over from here in Plastow, a place called Atkinson. I guess there's a car show on Monday, Labor Day, and I'm going to bring the Sonnet to it. And Dave, the owner of the shop here, this is the Cutlass that we restored. This was a full frame-off resto. It was probably halfway done when I started here about 3 years ago, and we finished this thing early last year, I think it was. Or got it to the point it's at now. So I got a few things I want to take care of today before we bring it to a show, because it will be the first show we're bringing this to. We got the I can't tell if you can see it or not because it's pretty light out here. Well, we got a pretty good scratch. Dave did that backing out. There was a plastic bucket right here, and he cut to put it in a spot over here and pushed the bucket out of the way, and the paint was still kind of soft. So we're going to try to touch that up. Got a few little issues. We got like a door pull here that's loose. I got to put a body fastener in there. And another thing that is going on is he put these a disc brake upgrade, and he's got these drilled and slotted rotors, but I think they're going the wrong way. He put the left rotor on the right and the right rotor on the left. Not a big deal, but it's one of those little picky things I want to take care of. It's not like it's any kind of performance or safety issue, because this isn't like a track car or nothing. The slots and drills more for the look, because that's the kind of resto mod style. Although I wouldn't really call this car a resto mod. This is more just a reimagining of the original. Wow, she's a heavy hood. And there's the Oldsmobile Rocket 350. Torquey motor sounds good. We'll hear it in a second. I'm going to pull it into that bay there. I got to put an exhaust on this thing here too. I'm probably going to put an exhaust on that Explorer. Got some bits and pieces to put on. But I'm probably not going to bore you guys with that husk crap. No one cares about an Explorer. I can't wait till those things are off the road. So, yeah, Rocket 350. Let's see Anyway, let's start this thing up and hear what it sounds like. Idle's a little high, it sounds. Let's go around the lot once, why not? So, yeah. Nice convertible. This is a nice cruiser. Nice cruising car. Doesn't really feel all as floaty as you would think. It's got some decent suspension in it. Nothing really upgraded, just good condition, refreshed stock. Make a little noise. Not a powerhouse, but that's not what this car was intended for. This wasn't built to be some crazy friggin' drift muscle race car. Although I don't think any convertible car should really be put on a, you know what I'm trying to say, cowl shake. I don't like cowl shake, looseness. I don't like convertibles all that much. But if I was gonna have a convertible, it'd be something like this. right, guys. I'll let me get this Explorer figured out, and then we'll get into swapping that brakes. I'll walk you through taking the brakes off of one of these. Getting this thing ready for its first show. All right, guys. Now we got the nice Foose wheels. So yeah, we'll see you in a second. All right. I got this nasty old exhaust out of this Explorer here. Got a little issue here with this flange. I'm going to use something called a split flange on this to put this back together. A new gasket, because this flange has pretty much had it. But I'm going to leave it there because it's a good anchor point for something called a split flange. I've got it being delivered by one of our suppliers right now with a new gasket. Should be here pretty quick. Got a whole new converter back, replacement exhaust, walker, muffler, and tailpipe and intermediate pipe. But that's just something I get going on while I'm doing this, because I can multitask these jobs. So let's see what the other side. We got a better light over here. So, anyways, this is the brake upgrade that Dave, the owner of this car and the owner of the shop, did. He did this in his garage at home. The trouble is these rotors. He put the left one on the right and the right one on the left, and a lot of people don't realize that these slots right here are directional, and usually they're set with a direction with these vanes. Let me where's my flashlight? Let's get the flashlight. We need a little more light in here. So yeah, those vanes are meant to move the hot gases that are released by the brake pad when they heat up. Brake pads are metallic. There's copper in them. There's also a lot of organic material. They call it in there. Just set some light on the subject here. All right. So yeah, you got your caliper here. Your pads are in there, and they rub on the friction surface here. They make a lot of heat. They also use centrifugal force. Did I only grab one flashlight? They use centrifugal force just like a blower would. See, these are vanes. These are meant to move air, and some of them have a curve to it. I don't know if these look like they're straight, so it's not as big a deal. But those act like a blower fan, and they push heat from inside the rotor. They suck air from behind the backing plate here down inside underneath the hat. They suck air and then blow the air radially out these vanes, just like a blower fan in the heater control or an exhaust fan or something. And they use the centrifugal force to do that. So you got these slots going this way. When the car is rolling forward, any gas that those slots is going to want to be slung out with the centrifugal force. The heat's going to want to go out the way the air's moving. But these slots being this way push the gas into the hat here instead of releasing it out the end. So if these are spinning this way, that gas is going to travel down the wrong way. You want them to go that way, so they shoot the gas that's being generated by the pads out. So these are backwards. It's not as easy as just releasing removing the caliper and pulling the rotor off, because these are integral with the upgrades, integral with the hub. This wheel bearing hub is part of that. So I'm just going to kind of leave everything together and just swap the rotors. I got to pull the caliper off. So let me get these off, and I'll show you a little more detail how those vanes move air with these are removed. So hopefully that gasket, it's not here on my split flange. Usually parts get left there. That's where our deliveries go. So I'll get this split flange and get this thing together. We'll pound those rotors off, and I'll show you a little more detail what's going on with those. So then I got to get going on that door fix, and that driver's mirror squeaks too. Weird little squeak in that car, kind of annoying. So yeah, let me pull some stuff apart. let me put some stuff together and see you in a second.
Get this all ready to go back together here. Figured I'd show you how it's done. A little action sequence in the video. So we got this with the slots facing the right way. Carefully guide the bearing and steel over the spindle. There we go. I'm going to take our bearing. And these were just greased not too long ago. Say maybe 200 miles ago. So we'll just reapply the little bit of grease that's on the outside. Should be fine. It'll be fine. And then there's a lock on the lock washer. We'll lock that up. Good. Got a nut. That nut on there. Now this is the same way you do like all of this type of wheel bearing. If you got a trailer, they're pretty much, same thing, same way to adjust them. You want to tighten them up so they're snug. So you just barely start to feel drag on the rotor. Spin it a few times both ways. That's going to seat the bearing in the races. These aren't new bearings, well, they're brand new bearings, but they're not new today. They've got a little use on them. So you just want to make sure they go into the same races they came from. And then you're going to tighten it a few times, make sure they're nice and seated. Those feel good, so we're going to back off. And some people use torque wrenches for this. Some people use, whatever works for them. I personally, I like doing it by feel. I can feel, I've done so many wheel bearings, I know that right there is pretty much perfect. You might have to make a little adjustment, more or less, to get your cotter pin hole lined up with the capsule nut to be sufficient. And then always use a brand new cotter pin. These are the old cotter pin. They're cheap. It's cheap just to use a new one because that could break off. It's been bent one way or the other, especially nowadays where hardware doesn't seem to be as high quality in some cases. It's just the way of the world nowadays. And then you always bite off. You bend one tab, the upper tab over, and then you cut the other one off. That way when it comes time to remove this, it's just a quick, that other piece isn't going to be floating around in there. Take that cap. Important to get that one straight. Wise guy, huh? Wise guy. Now, usually I would just hit them in, real hard on the top, but this is kind of a showy, nice car. So we're gonna fight this a little bit around the edges. Or I'll just go get my mallet. Usually these aren't pain, but I'm not trying to not mar up the hardware. I don't like damaging hardware if I can avoid it. And we want that nice and clean, any excess grease wiped away because we don't want that getting into the brakes. Not that it would cause them to be hard to stop, but it would make noise. It's you get grease in your brakes or oil in your brakes. You ever had a leaky rear axle seal and it gets into the disc brakes and makes them squeal? It's grease. Grease will do that. All right, this looks good. Cut my caliper free. Hang the caliper with some zip ties. Pad here. Very carefully, because everything's painted. Slide that into position. Like guide pins in. Good. Normally I use an air ratchet for this, but being something special like this, everything's painted, I'd rather just do it the old-fashioned way. You know, this way I can make sure nothing hits the painted surfaces. You know, a lot of effort goes into painting a chassis and doing the kind of detail you see here. It's important that when you're servicing it, you don't just tear into it like it's a rusty old Ford pickup truck. Good. That's good. All right. And we got these big old Foose wheels here. And there you have it. That's kind of what you got with the slotted rotors if they're not the right way. You know, you hope that kind of answered some questions you might have had, or maybe showed you something you got going on in your own car that you didn't know was wrong. And that's the kind of thing that, like at a car show, that's the other thing I would look at, is make sure stuff like that's right. You know, you see how I don't like fake AN fittings. Well, I mean, it's all like the knowledge. Maybe they don't know, maybe, you know, you just don't know. Well, anyway, I'm gonna get this wheel torqued on. I'm gonna do that other side back together, and we'll see what else we can get done on this car today. I expected Dave to be here by now. He's running a little late. He's got the Sonic. I can't wait to get his thoughts on that car. I can't wait to get his thoughts on the Sonic. So anyway, let me get this thing together, and maybe we'll get a road test around the block. And I'll see you in a minute, guys.
All right, well, I'm still waiting for parts to show up. No, I don't see anything on the parts bench right there. So, plugging away on this. Not a real tough job to do. I got these rotors off. Got these brakes broken down. So, anyway, here we can really see those veins I'm talking about, and each one of these holes is in a vein. They release gas inside into that airstream, but what the problem was with these being backwards, I'll show you on the other side. But you can see air comes into this area here, cold air, and then it's forced by centrifugal force through these veins, and it blows it out here into the wheel, and to be, you know, left in the airstream behind the wake behind the vehicle. The heat is. So yeah, we'll come over here to the other side. I think it shows a little better. No. Here you can see, yeah, my light. I gotta get some better equipment for these videos. I gotta get some better lighting. So you can see this hole here is how air comes from behind into here, and then down here too, and then a little bit around through the caliper. So cold air comes into this slot, into this hole, which would be right about in this area here, and feeds air into these, and it blows it out. And that's why it's important that these go the right way. Sometimes these veins on really, really high performance rotors will be angled in a very similar orientation to that. And if they're facing the wrong way, they'll never, you won't get as good coolant through them, and you can overheat the brakes. In performance applications, this is more of an issue. It wouldn't really be an issue in this car, but I really wanted a reason to bring this in and show a video of it, because, you know, I haven't really shown this car on the channel, even though I've got more work into this than I do in the Sonnet. Hey Perry, what's up? Not too bad. That's the parts that we're waiting for this Explorer. We got a split flange. We'll go over and take a look at that in a second. So anyway, you can see now that I've got this one on the right way, any gas is going to get forced out. You know, forced, just like my fingers ride in the slot, the gas is going to do pretty much the same thing. And it's just going to help centrifugal force get rid of that heat. So, yeah, that's why when they were the other way, when they're going this way, think of the gas is going to try to get forced into the base of the rotor, where it can't really effectively release the gases, it can't effectively release the heat. So that's the right way. That's the way slots are supposed to face, just like that. And that lets the centrifugal force blow the gases out into the airstream that the rotor is already making. This is one of the little things, performance things, people don't really think about. So let's see what we got brought here. Should be a gasket and one of the cheaper split flanges. This might actually work out all right for what I need to do. I was hoping it was one of the interlocking ones. Sometimes you never really know exactly what they're going to bring, but I can make that work. I can make that work, no problem. So probably going to button this thing up first, just because I want to get the money out of the bag, get the boring stuff out of here. So I'm gonna cram this together real quick, and then I'll get that together, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, well, I got this turd back together. You can see, if you take a look, that's a split flange right there. It bolts together and lets you bolt the exhaust up the stock way. The other option would have been to weld that together, but then it would have been something harder to repair when this muffler rots out. The other option would have been to replace the cat pipe. There's one cat there and one there. There's two big cats on one pipe, rusty bolts and all that. That's a bear to remove and pricey. That's a pricey unit. So we use the split flange to save that cat pipe and to keep the rest of this exhaust easily removable, so you can use either OEM or the right aftermarket parts to build your catback pipe, so that the next person that does this job doesn't have to cut the cat pipe and wrestle with that and weld it in or whatever. So that's how I like to do something like this on these older vehicles. You know, something cost effective for the customer. And get this back together. Got these wheels all back on there. Yeah. Now we got a car show on Monday that this is going to hopefully debut at, and we'll see how it goes, weather permitting. Weather permitting. Now Dave still isn't here. He's not back yet. Like I said earlier, he's in the Sonnet. He's kind of a big guy. He's a tall guy. I hope he didn't get stuck trying to get in the Sonnet and can't reach his phone, and he's, you know, oh well. So let's go for a little around the block in this. How about that? Well, actually, we won't be able to go around the block because I'm the only person here at the moment. I don't want to leave the lot. I don't want to leave the lot with the doors open. But anyway, I hope that this video helped you out a little bit about orientating your slotted rotors the right way, and how to take care of a rotted out flange on an exhaust. Those split flanges are pretty much lifesavers sometimes, or I should say wallet savers, because that cat pipe, you know, I don't even want to know how much that would cost for the poor guy trying to keep his Explorer on the road for him. But that's the kind of job we do honestly more than these bills and stuff. It's the everyday tires and brakes and water pumps and timing belts. That's what. Okay. All right, that's a thing. That's a thing. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, kind of lost my train of thought now from that. These guys are going to Nantucket. So yeah, like I was saying, I hope this video helped you out. I'll get a video going when that car show, when we go there. We'll have this and the Sonnet probably right next to each other with the banners on the windshield. But I was hoping Dave would have driven in by now Would have liked to have gotten him on camera getting out of that Sonnet, but yeah. Maybe I'll just steal this for the day. Be a nice day to cruise up Hampton Beach, maybe. Maybe I'll just steal his car. You know what? I'm gonna steal his car. I'm gonna steal the Cutlass today, and he can enjoy the Sonnet. Well, anyway, guys, I wanna go enjoy this nice holiday weekend. So until next time, keep it out of the cabbage.